And I think we should be live. Hello everyone, welcome back to some more GT7 action here at the Nurburgring GP. We're here for the first proper championship, you might say, the new edition of mini seasons coming to GT7. I say that, we've made them up in a way. There's 3 races in this mini championship. The first one here at the Nurburgring GP, the second one at Monza, and then we finish off in Switzerland in the Deep Forest Raceway. We've got 10 drivers on the track tonight. Hopefully we should get more on the way, but this is essentially qualifying. We've had about 10 minutes of qualifying. I haven't started the stream yet because I didn't start the stream when I started qualifying because I wanted to make sure everything was okay. To say it gets a little bit out of shape in the Genesis, but we're seeing some new cars, some different cars from what we saw in Daytona in one of our previous events, the first event we done on this game. A lot of Jags in that race. No Jags on this grid tonight. A lot of Corvettes though on the grid, and a lot of Dutch drivers currently owning first 3 spots in qualifying. We've got 5 minutes left. I'm going to let everyone know in the chat because there is no quality timer, so we have to base it off just us counting. If you bear with me for just 2 seconds, I'm going to make sure my stream is working and just sort everyone out in the chat. So yeah, sorry, bear with me for just 2 seconds. Okay, apologies about that. So, let's go through our drivers tonight. So we've got Jetty currently on provisional pole position. GTA 413, a new addition to the Gavra racing community. On his debut, I believe this is, in the Volkswagen Beetle, a popular car among the daily racers. Dan Schneider currently in 3rd place in the Hot Wheels Corvette, and Dutchy in 4th place ahead of his one of his rivals, Toussaint. The only 2 drivers who have won a championship in our main GT Sport leagues. Is Toussaint gets a 3-second time penalty for cutting the white line on pit entry. I think someone else has got one as well just ahead. Piero's got one as well. So yeah, Piero's joining us. Von Evil's also got a 3-second time penalty down in 7th place. But we've got Wiggly Style in the Subaru, Ted in the Corvette, and Cameron Kaboom in the Mazda. Tim used this car last season or the season before in GT Sport, and it turned out to be a pretty decent car on the fuel, so that could be something to keep an eye out for this race. As we approach half past, streaming this live, we started quite at 1/4 the hour, and it finishes at 1/2 the hour because there is no qualifying in this game anymore. But the Dutch 1, 2, 3 is now a 1, 3, 4 with GTA splitting them in the middle. It's going to be interesting to see who or how they run this race, because it was quite a bit different in Daytona. Tyre's not that as bad. It's a slightly longer race to Daytona. We've got 20 laps of the Nurburgring GP, and there are no tyre requirements. So it's going to be some kind of a little bit like the Red Bull Ring event we done, what was it, 2 or 3 weeks ago now. We've kept quite a large period of time in between, just to hope the servers get a little bit more stable. As a matter of fact, nothing much has changed. Nurburgring, though, is one of those tracks where rain can happen. It can rain here at this track, so hopefully we might have our first wet race of GT7. But unfortunately, no clouds overhead as things stand. It's almost 1/2 It's previous 5 minutes have actually gone really slowly, but I have got a live clock up on my phone. As GTA just stopping on the exits of the pit lane, maybe letting all those drivers go past behind. Bon Evil going in towards turn 1, currently in 7th place. I'm aware we haven't done much commentating on a lap. Let's go on board with Piero. He's in the Genesis, I believe. The Hyundai, sorry, Hyundai Genesis, same thing. Let's ride on board with the Frenchman going through the third sector. This track has 4 sectors for some reason. You can see how much understeer. Well, it looks like he's getting a bit of understeer. He was off the throttle for what felt like ages. He's 4 tenths down his time. I'm not sure this is going to be an improvement from the Frenchman as he approaches the final chicane. Not the one that they use in Assetto Corsa or the 24-hour circuit, the Nordschleife. But the sky looks a bit weird. It's a bit grey as opposed to blue. But Piero rounds the final corner. It's annoying we can't get straight to this camera because we're now on controller, not the keyboard. Up to the line, he doesn't improve. Wigglestyle currently in 8th place on the medium tyres. Is he going to improve? I've got the job now of trying to be the automatic quali ender. I don't know what to... You know when quali's over and it has that automatic timer for when you do your last laps? Yeah, I've got to try and do that while streaming at the same time. It's actually getting quite cloudy. Maybe we could see some rain for the race, at the start of the race. Potentially, who knows? I'm keeping an eye on the racing and the time as well, because we're getting close to half past. Ted moves up into 7th place. And it is going to be the driver behind Ted to set their lap. So, for all the people watching on the stream, Jetsy will be the last driver to set their lap because it is half past. We've got drivers approaching the line. Bon Evil setting the line, moves up into 5th place. What about Toussaint? He's up down to 6th place now. After Bon Evil goes up into 5th. It looks like Dutchy getting caught up behind GTA. There's a little bit of contact between the two. They've actually got damage. Maybe there's a little bit of contact between those two guys. I'm not too sure. We don't have the replay features, unfortunately, on this game. We've got those two guys going through the final few corners. Tiger has joined just in time to start the race, although he will start from the back of the grid. We've got Kaboom in the Mazda. Rounding the final corner, you can see GTA and Dutchy pulling over to the right-hand side of the track. And Kaboom, can he set a time good enough to move up from 10th place? He does, goes up into 9th position. Who is it? It's Jetsy and Ted, who are the last 2 drivers to set times. It looks like Jetsy is now the lead car. As there seems to be a little bit of an in-depth conversation happening in the chat. Apologies about that. As Jetsy, he's 3 tenths off his time through the middle sector. Has Tiger been able to join? Let's get him in a car quickly. Oh, I don't want to enter. That wouldn't be great. Jetsy, though, up to the line. Goes, maintains 2nd place. So we'll wait to see if Tiger can join a team. He is in the team. He is in the car, so he is in the Viper. And we can get this race started. Let's just see if everyone's on track. Let's get this up. Sorry about this, guys. Okay, I think everything's set. Let's hope this works. Hello, Spin Master. Now we just have to pray. Everyone looks to be on the grid. You can hear the engines roaring as we build to 5 red lights here at the Nurburgring. There we go, we've got the 5 red lights on the screen now. 3, 4, 5 lights, and when they go out, we'll be racing here at the Nurburgring for 20 laps of round 1 here in the mini-series. I'm noticing the Viper, I think that's Ted off to a good start, already up into 5th place. Piero on the inside. Dan Schneider though maintains the lead going in towards turn 1. Piero on the inside of his old teammate Play Dutchy, now down into 6th position. He's got Ted on the inside of him. What a start from Ted up into 4th place. He started up 7th or 8th, I believe. Just noticing how we do have all 11 drivers on the grid. It's all kicking off in the midfield with Pierre and Toussaint going wheel to wheel. A little bit of dust being kicked up on the inside. A few cars running wide. I think that's Bon Evil and Piero getting unsettled on the grass. Toussaint looking for a move on the inside of Piero. Down the inside goes the Brit, and an extra position he gains in the race. Tiger making up one position from the start. Just keeping it cautious. It looks like they can all see each other, I believe. I'm keeping things a bit quiet, just because I'm a little bit on the edge of whether they can actually all see each other. But we'll find out in a bit, I guess, if there are any complaints. But it's been a good start for the two Dutch drivers, 1 and 2. GTA up into 3rd place in the Beetle. Ted, an outstanding start up into 4th place. Dutchy down into 5th, but notice how the top 4 are all on the soft compounder tyre. Everyone else below is on the mediums. Dutchy's coming under a bit of pressure from Bon Evil, who goes defensive in towards the final chicane, but Dutchy's later on the brakes, maintains 5th position. I guess it goes to show how much quicker the soft tyres are as well, because Ted, up into 4th place, is 1.5 seconds ahead of Play Dutchy. There are no tyre requirements for this race. Similarly in F1, you have to use 2 different sets. We've scrapped that rule for this mini season. You can do whatever tyres you want, soft, mediums, or hards, when and wherever. Or maybe none, maybe do a no stop, if that's even possible. But Dutchy leads the train of the medium tyre runners. Maybe it will give the likes of Pierre and Toussaint the opportunity to let Bonnie and Dutchy battle, and they can save fuel behind. But it is the Hot Wheels Dan Schneider who's got the Dynaco Jetzy closely in pursuit. 7 tenths behind. I believe the last time these two drivers were racing on track was in Daytona, and one hit the exits of the pit wall when going wheel to wheel with the other. I can't actually remember which one it was. I think it was Dan Schneider who fell victim in that particular incident. But Bon Evil just dropping off slightly to the back of Play Dutchy, 5 tenths. It might only be the slight 5 tenths, but the car behind Toussaint is a lot closer, 3 tenths, and he's going to be a little bit vulnerable. But it's a long race, and these guys are smart. They know what to do. They've been here, with the majority of them, Toussaint, Dutchy, they've been here since season 1. They know their way around this game, or this my style of GT7 league races, let's put it that way, with the fuel, the tyres, different strategies, different cars. Look at the minimap, how close these drivers are to one another. I believe we press this button. Yes, we can... No, it's not that button. Which button is it? Yes, we can zoom in. So if we want to have a little bit of a zoom in and Play Dutchy, ooh, there we go. It does remove everything at the bottom, but that is not an issue. Jetzy now takes to the lead of the race, or was he? No, he wasn't in the lead of the race, because it's the Hot Wheels Dan Schneider who's dropped to 7th, second place. Someone's in the gravel trap apparently, as Tiger Assassin go down the inside of Kaboom into the final corner. That looks close to the pit entry wall. Makes his way up into 9th place, but is going to go wheel to wheel with the Mazda down the start finish straight in the run down towards turn 1. Wiggly Style might look interesting on this. In behind, currently running in 11th place, as Tiger down the inside, late on the brakes, gets his Viper up into 9th place as Dutchy and Bonnie now going wheel to wheel. Bonnie trying to go round the outside through turn 2, and that would be a pretty impressive move if you can pull it off through here. 50 miles per hour as they make their way through turn 3, the left-hander, which becomes the inside line for Bon Evil, forces Dutchy wide off the track. I don't think that's a penalty in this game, and gets the position up into 5th place. Thought he had it. Dutchy though still alongside, now goes down the inside of the British driver in the Genesis. And they're still going to go wheel to wheel. Toussaint's going to be licking his lips at this particular battle, as GTA up in front looking to go down the inside of Dan Schneider, who leaves the door wide open. GTA sees the gap and goes for it. They're going to go wheel to wheel on the exit. Dutchy and Bonnie now going side by side. Bon Evil with the inside line gets the move done, going up into the Schumacher SSO. Dan Schneider maintains ahead of GTA, and Toussaint just backs out of a potential move on Play Dutchy after having to take a slightly wider line through the hairpin. But already we're 3 laps into this race, and we've got battles going on all over the track for 9th, for 6th and for 2nd. Tiger Assassin has got a 3-second time penalty as Play Dutchy's gone off. Whether there was contact between him, Toussaint or Piero, Bonnie Evil, sorry, not Piero. I'm not too sure. We don't have the replay feature on this game, unfortunately, but that is your 4-time GT Sport champion down into 11th place. Kaboom loses the position to Wiggly Style. Does anyone have damage? No one has damage. Bonnie Evil, though, getting the rear all out of shape through the exit of the final chicane, but it maintains 5th position. Ted keeping up with the front three as GTA in the slipstream might look for a move on Dan Schneider going in towards turn 1. As he's late on the brakes, down the inside. Dan Schneider almost thinking about a switcheroo, but it looks like he tried holding it round the outside, but loses the position. GTA puts a car in between himself and the two Dutch Corvettes. 1 and 2. There's Wiggly Style getting ahead of Kaboom, or maintaining ahead of Kaboom, I think. As he drops down to 10th place. Dutchy now 1.7 seconds behind. Bon Evil pulling Toussaint and Pierre along. So it looks like Toussaint has just got slightly more fuel than Bon Evil. Maybe he's trying to save a little bit, extend his stint on the mediums. But Play Dutchy already closing down that gap to Cameron Kaboom. I wouldn't be surprised if he overtakes him in the next 2 laps. He's already proved himself what he can do after crashing in the opening few laps, although this is a slightly shorter race than the 50-60 minute races we usually run in a championship, in the main championships. But Ted is doing an impressive job up in 4th place. We've seen his pace, well, I've seen his pace personally in practice sessions, but to add on from what we were saying in Daytona, and not Daytona, the Red Bull Ring, the improvements from GT Sport to GT7, not anything against him, but he finished second last, 13th last season on GT Sport. He's now running in 4th place, and if anyone gets improvement of the year, well, then I think Ted is a pretty strong contender. And there you have it. Play Dutchy already up ahead of Kaboom before the chicane, and can now hunt down the Subaru of Wiggly Style, which is a decent car on this game. GTA on his debut, not sure what happened in qualifying, but he apparently upset Play Dutchy, something that's quite easy to do. So GTA, if you are watching the stream back, don't be too bad on yourself. But he's doing a pretty impressive job for his first race, hunting down Jetsy for the lead. And we know how quick Jetsy and Dan Schneider are. They proved it in Daytona and in the previous GT Sport races that they have competed in. I don't know why the brake bias is on for when we spectate Toussaint, because you can't change the brake bias because tuning is prohibited. We can't actually change the track map or anything on the side. There's Kaboom going back again at Dutchy. Is Dutchy struggling at this track, or is he just being caught up in incidents? I didn't quite see the overtake or the comeback from Kaboom. But that is Dutchy back down into last position. The gap between Tiger and Pierre is stabilising about 3.5 seconds. Bon Evil still keeping Toussaint at bay, both in the Genesis. As a GTA will be trying his best to put Jetsy under pressure, but those soft tyres are starting to go off. Look at Bonnie's mediums, look at Ted's softs, for example. It is getting a little bit cloudy after 9 minutes of racing. We may see some rain for the first time through the Schumacher S's. They go, the Schumacher S's, so almost at the Senna S's. That is in Brazil. Jetsy has a 5/10th penalty. Not sure where he got that from, but it must have been at the 2 corners before. Otherwise, he would have served it at the penalty gate. He now needs to push on this lap if he's to stay ahead of GTA, because he's going to slow down for 0.5 of a second. And well, GTA only 4/10 behind. It's going to be the prime opportunity to take the lead off in the race. I realised I didn't do the Nurburgring track info I usually do. Toussaint there with a good run through the final corner, pulls up alongside Bon Evil in the run down towards turn 1, down the start finish straight, the 2 Genesises, that's going to be hard to say, battling for 5th place. It's your season 1 champion ahead of, well, your season 1 champion of GT Sport, now ahead of Bon Evil. We're going to have to start the seasons again, as Dutchy has now got a 2-second advantage over Kaboom. And look who's joining the fun. Dan Schneider now in 3rd place. He's now only 2/10, 1/10, nearly half a tenth behind GTA going through the first sector. Is he going to go for a move? Actually, let's get some onboard footage from the passenger seat as if we were nearly there. GTA goes slightly defensive, parking his car in the middle of the circuit. Maintains second place. You can see the soft tyres, they're all fairly equal. Now they're just starting to die a bit. Toussaint catching up to the back of Ted actually. He might have made a mistake because he has lost 4 seconds to Dan Schneider. Maybe his tyres aren't working on the Viper. Tiger's lost a little bit of time to Piero as Dutchy and Wiggly Style start to close down the gap, but you can see Jetsy is about to serve his time penalty. Watch out for the orange car in front of Dan Schneider. He may lose 2 positions here. He pulls over, no he doesn't, he stays on the left hand side of the track, but you can see he's slowing down because he's slowed down for 0.5 of a second, but still keeps the lead of the race actually, surprisingly. No he doesn't, because GTA is late on the brakes down the inside. Well, Dan Schneider trying to go around the outside, that would have been opportunistic, but he has ultimately lost time. Ted's lost 2 positions to Bonnie and Toussaint through the second and third sector somewhere. Maybe his tyres are just starting to die off. He does, pulls over to the right hand side into the pit lane. GTA follows him in for a fresh set of pink tyres, whatever tyres they are. Who knows whether it'll be soft, medium or hards as the battle for the lead. Now 0.8 of a second. The battle for what is now third place with Ted and GTA coming into the pits. Ted actually has the fastest lap and will get an extra point if he's able to keep it. Yes, we are keeping track of points. 18 points for a win, 15 for second, 12 for third, 10, 8, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. The rest get 0. Let's see what tyres and fuel they went on to. So it looks like GTA didn't put any fuel in the car. Ted put in about 80-90% and is down in 11th place. So you can see the gap now, 13 seconds between Ted and GTA, but that is because Ted has put in more fuel. So if GTA needs to make another pit stop, then GTA is going to be in the pits for longer than Ted because he's going to need to put in more fuel to get him to the end of the race. We're on lap 7 of 20, so it's a good indication to note that the soft tyres only really go about 12 minutes, 12-13 minutes, which will still apply for Monza and Deep Forest. Roughly, it may not be as bad at a track like Deep Forest where there's only really 2 main heavy braking corners, not many high speed corners as well, so Deep Forest may be the best track for the tyre wear. Monza, well, the tyres can get really cooked into turn 1, turn 4, on the exit of Ascari, the final corner, Parabolica, I should say. Should be interesting. That's also another reason why someone may pick the Corvette. It might have better tyre wear, but judging by how fast these soft tyres are degrading compared to the mediums, some might say not. They do continue to stay out. As Toussaint gaining on them on the medium tyres. Maybe we're at the crossover point. Often you hear the crossover point between slicks and wets, or wets and dries, but this is kind of the crossover point between when the mediums become quicker than the worn softs. Clay Dutchy has got past Wiggly Style, who's now up into 7th place. 4/10 behind Tiger Assassin. Two Vipers. They're not 2 Vipers. They're both American. One's in a Corvette, one is in the Viper. Tiger Assassin in a Rocket Viper. And Dutchy in... well, they're both very similar looking liveries, to be honest. Black and red. Primarily black. Looks like Tiger might be struggling slightly on those tyres, because look at the run that Clay Dutchy has. You can see putting on the inside, gets the move down up into 6th place. It's annoying we have to flick through the cameras rather than having the keyboard where we can just select one that we want. What we'll have to do for now, unless Polyphony add back the replay features and all that lovely stuff. Toussaint gaining on the back of Dan Schneider. We can get some cockpit cam action going through the Schumacher S's. There's a nice thick black or dark grey cloud looming large in the foreground. Actually, is Toussaint's now going to try and go around the outside. Has he got enough track room? Yes, he has, and he's now going down the inside of the Corvette and up into 2nd place in a prime position to now win this race. Maybe it's time for the soft runners to come into the pits. We know how powerful the undercut is. Toussaint though going defensive to the inside. Dan Schneider's going to try and work something around the outside. quite hard to go around the outside into that corner unless you're pretty much alongside. Bon Evil making decent, well, what's the word? Interesting use of the track limits, gets a 5/10 penalty for doing so. I thought I saw someone come into the pits. I was wrong, as Bon Evil has lost it at the final corner. Does a perfect 360, gets spacing in the right direction, but may lose 2 further positions to Dutchy and Tiger gaining in the background. They could be 3 wide as they approach turn 1. I think Bon Evil's just got enough to stay ahead, because Dutchy got enough to stay ahead of Tiger Assassin, who goes for it on the inside. Dutchy gives him just enough space, maybe goes in a bit deep because he's run over / gone through the cones on the outside. Now has the inside line for turn 2, a long swooping left-hander. Tiger though will set himself up maybe for a lunge on the inside, but he's not quite close enough. Bon Evil's tyres maybe a little bit cooked after that spin. The Genesis is quite known for being quite rear happy at some points, as we now have a battle for the lead between Toussaint and Jetsy. One on very worn soft tyres, like very worn soft tyres, the other on decently fresh medium tyres, about 30-25% worn. Toussaint is 1.9 seconds ahead of Dan Schneider. He needs to get past as soon as possible because he's got a closing Piero. An extra 1 position behind, looking to get past Dan Schneider. Bon Evil's day gets from bad to worse. Not only has he got Play Dutchy close behind him, but he's got a 1 second time penalty now to his name. Piero's trying to go for a move round the outside of Dan Schneider. Can he pull this one off? Similar to how Toussaint done a lap ago, he's got the grip on the outside to get ahead of Dan Schneider. You'd think Dan and Jetsy would pit this lap as their tyres are done. Toussaint now takes the lead of the race in the Genesis. What a beautiful livery as well, and such a beautiful car. Dan Schneider though fighting back against Piero to the inside, gets the move done, but like, they're staying out. Is Dan Schneider seriously staying out? But Piero on the mediums, he's coming into the pits. He's had enough of the yellow stripe medium. The soft runners, well, there's no punctures in this game, so it's just drive to the tyres. I don't know, there's just drive. Really, there's no end. We're halfway into this race, lap 10 out of 20. Maybe Jetsy and Dan are going on these soft tyres to try and do another stint on the softs. I think Piero may be going for another set of mediums. Bon Evil Wiggly style also into the pits. Let's see where Ted goes. See where he comes out. He's on the hard compound tyre. Where will Ted come out in respect to the Bon Evil? He's come up behind. So maybe the hard tyre's not working. He might have made a mistake. I'm not too sure because he was up there with the likes of GTA, Dan Schneider. So interesting strategies, maybe a 2-stop potentially. I'm not too sure what the strategy is for these guys. They can do anything they want, essentially. GTA on the fresher soft tyres compared to Tiger Assassin's worn mediums. Where and when does he go for his move? He probably wants to get past fairly quickly, so he can get a move on with his race, essentially being stuck behind slower cars who haven't pit. Let's get back up into the, there we go, in the cinematic cam. He's got such a good run through the Schumacher races. Now wheel to wheel with the Viper on the outside. Can he get this move stick? Round the outside, late on the brakes. Tiger's going to try and keep it on the inside, but with the inside line for the next corner, GTA gets the move done up into 5th place on the fresher tyres. Runs right onto the gravel though. That's going to compromise his run down to the chicane. Goes defensive to the inside for the chicane there, wheel to wheel. Looks like Dutchy might be running a little bit slowly. It's hard to tell. As a Tiger now round the outside. GTA though with the inside line and a tank slapper for good measures. Gets the move done up into 5th place. Tiger Assassin cutting the white line, going into the pits, so that would probably result in a 3-second time penalty when he leaves the pits. Jetsy, Dan and Dutchy all into the pits, and that means Toussaint takes the lead of the race, but he hasn't pit yet. GTA has made his first pit stop, and he doesn't technically need to go, pit again. Could go to the end if he can make those soft tyres last. Toussaint and Piero though, actually no, they don't need to make another pit stop because there's no rules for pitting. Piero has actually pit. He pit on lap 9. My apologies. Where's he going to come out? He comes out ahead of Jetsy, so he's jumped Jetsy in the pit lane. What about Dan Schneider? This is going to be close between him and Bon Evil. Wheel to wheel on the exit of the corner. This is going to be close. Bon Evil with the outside line. Dan Schneider slots in between himself and Dutchy. Tiger Assassin does get the 3-second time penalty for cutting the white line on pit lane entry. It was pretty clear, it was pretty obvious. I don't think it can be argued. Dan Schneider, though, with fresh soft compound tyres against Bon Evil's fresh medium tyres, he's going to be so quick in the first 4 laps, but for the final 3 laps, it'll be like dragging a cat up the motorway. They will be screaming at him, just like we saw in the first stint. But Toussaint's advantage is coming down. Is he going to come into the pit, or is he going to take those mediums to the end of the race? Is GTA going to make another pit stop in this race? Pitted quite early at the end of lap 6, so may pit again on lap 12 for a 2-stop strategy. There are only 20 laps here of the Nurburgring, but it does equate to about 40 odd minutes. Here goes Jetsy trying to go for a move round the outside of Piero, down in towards this corner. I can't remember what turn it is, but it does get the move done round the outside, back up into 3rd place and in a podium position. I think it's turn 10 or turn 11. It is actually getting a little bit cloudy and overcast here in this race, but Toussaint does come into the pits. So GT Sport Season 1 champion pits from the medium tyres. He may go onto the softs for the final 8 laps. That gives GTA the lead of the race on his Gavra Racing GT7 debut, and an impressive debut it would be. I don't think anyone's won on their debut, if you discount the first ever race on GT Sport. That doesn't count. It's everyone's debut, which I think Duke SL64 won, if you remember, when he was in charge of the league. And Toussaint now coming out of the pits, wheel to wheel with Jetsy, and Piero slots in between the two. That was fairly close as Bon Evil trying to go round the outside of Dan Schneider, cuts him off on the apex, but Dan gets him back on the inside. It's getting very overcast. Maybe we might see some rain for the first time this season. Just as Toussaint pulled into the pits, it might rain here at the Nurburgring. Dan Schneider on the inside of Bon Evil gets the move done down at turn 4 and 5. 3 and 4, sorry. Gets the move done up into 5th place. Watch out for that bottom left-hand corner. That bar that is currently empty next to the tyres, that is the grip meter. If you see a blue line rising from the bottom of that meter, that means there is rain hitting the circuit. It's getting very overcast and the battles are getting very close. We've got a 3-way fight for 2nd and a 3-way fight for 5th place. But who will come out on top? Here almost pushing Toussaint through the Schumacher S's. I keep almost saying Senna S's, which is why I keep Schumacher Senna. They're practically the same thing. 2 very quick drivers. As Piero 3/10 behind Toussaint. Dan Schneider about 3 millimeters from Bon Evil. They're wheel to wheel going through turn 11. Dan Schneider trying to hold it round the outside. Bon Evil with the inside line doesn't keep it because they're going to go wheel to wheel and exit. Dutchy makes it 3 wide down the back straight, and the run down towards turn 13, the final chicane. Bon Evil almost gets squeezed in between the two. Dan Schneider with the inside line on his Dutch rival gets the move done up into 5th place, and the amount of time that Tiger would have lost on that lap because of the time penalty puts him down into 8th place. Moving back up to the battle for 3rd place. Blue flags are being waved. I'm not sure for who. Doesn't look like anyone's interfering with this battle. Everyone's, the top 11 are still on the same lap, but I'm watching their windscreen wipers because we could see some potential rain hit the circuit. I don't know if any of the drivers are streaming to inform me of any rain on the radar. Let's have a look. Oh, the music's just started playing. That's interesting. Play Dutchy going a little bit wide though on the exit of turn 4. Don't think he'll get a penalty for that. You are kind of allowed to do it. The wind speed has picked up 7.7, now 7.8 meters per second. Meters or miles per second, I don't know. It is actually picking up quite a bit. Are we seeing some rain? And how heavy will this rain hit the circuit? The lights are on the cars. That is not a driver thing. That is an automatic thing the game does. The lights are on. And look at the wind speed. Are we going to get into double digits for the wind speed? When the wind speed is almost as entertaining as the action on the circuit. I hope we see rain, because it can rain at the Nurburgring. And if we don't see rain, I will be disappointed. Tiger being told by the game that he'll have to slow down at the next detection point. There you can see the yellow gates, the penalty gates where you serve your penalty. Play Dutchie must have got his penalty just before in order to... and it's raining! It's raining! It's raining! GTA into the pits from the softs. Look at the grip meter going up. It is raining here at the Nurburgring. Any gamblers for the intermediate tyres. Pierre's into the pits. Toussaint, Jetsy, Dan Schneider, they all stay out. We've got a lot of drivers coming into the pits from the medium tyres. Are they going to go for wets or are they going to go for inters? 3 drivers have stayed out. We've finally got rain on GT7. And look how heavy it is coming down. It's hitting the circuit on lap 14 of 20. We've got 6 laps to go, and they're going to end in wet conditions. Wiggly Style and Kaboom both stay out, but I think it's time for the intermediate tyres. It's intermediates for Piero. What about 10? Dutchie, it's all intermediates, I think. I don't think anyone's gone for the full wets. Kaboom, look how late on the brakes. He's got no grip on the mediums. He's off at turn 1. Wiggly Style struggling on the mediums, he's gone as well. Remember that F1 race, I think in 2007, when they all crashed at turn 1, yellow flags. Dan Schneider's off, Jetsy's off, Toussaint's off, the top 3 have all crashed. The top 3 are off. And it's a GTA's round as well. Piero, the leading driver on intermediates. Look how heavy the rain has hit the circuit. It's almost time for full wets. Dan Schneider, Jetsy, the top 3 all crashing at the same time. Jetsy's now in the wall. And GTA has disconnected or left the session just as the rain is hitting. And look how heavy it is. The spray. Dan Schneider drifting round the hairpin. This is absolutely incredible. With 6 laps to go. Look at the lap times. Look at the throttle inputs. Dan Schneider stuck in the middle of the circuit. Look at Jetsy's throttle inputs. He's going 50 miles per hour. He can't go quicker. And he's in the back of Piero. Piero's now got engine damage. Piero with engine damage couldn't avoid a slow moving Jetsy. What about Dutchie? Has he negotiated his way through the traffic? He's up and out into second place, which I think will be the lead. Because there's no grip. There is absolutely no grip. It's 3 wide between Bonnie and Tiger. Tiger now gets his way up into 4th place. He's mastering the wet conditions. He was in 8th place before the rain hit. But look at the dark blue bar in the bottom left. That means it's time for the full wets. Play Dutchie could win this race because Piero behind's got engine damage. And he was in, 7th place? He gets past Toussaint, who's stuck doing 55 miles per hour. Piero with engine damage can go quicker because there is no grip on the circuit. What? Oh, I'm in the grid now. Hello. Oh, and that's a big crash for Ted off into the gravel on the soft compound tyres. He just can't put the foot down. Look at Wiggly Style. Stuck doing 20 miles per hour. This is torrential. It is absolutely bucketing it down. Here out of the Nurburgring, Toussaint is crawling into the pits. And we've had 2 races with no rain, and then the next one we have is absolutely chucking it down. Dutchie being Dutchie, saying Holland champion in the chat. 7 positions. As I said, he's gained 6 positions in 1 lap, from 7th to 1st. For pitting from the softs to the wets. Bonnie, Evil and Tiger now going wheel to wheel. Through turn 2 and 3, there's contact between the 2 of them, negotiating the tricky, treacherous first sector of the Nurburgring GP. There might have been another slight tapping it again. As now Bonnie Evil up into 2nd place. Tiger was 8th before the rain hit. He's now up into 3rd place. And Toussaint was winning. He was leading this race. Is anyone opting for the full wets? Kaboom stays out. Wiggly Style is still making his way around the circuit. It's on a 3.5 minute lap. Ted's in the barrier. Just on the exit of the Schumacher race, the Schumacher race, is he pulling over to retire? I'm not sure what's happening with Ted. I'm not sure what's happening with half the grid. Dan Schneider's opted for the full wet tyres. Dutchie with now a 9-second lead. Yellow flags in front of him. I think this is for Ted, who's lost it. There you can see on the right hand side. There is Ted's stranded car. and he is just stuck, hopeless, doing donuts. He's on almost a 4-minute lap, and he just can't keep the car on the track. Tiger Assassin closing in on Bon Evil at 1.9 seconds, actually losing time after Bonnie getting past. Pierre with a 3-second time penalty for cutting the pit lane entry. Wow. If you're just tuning in now, then you have missed a lot of this race. Dan Schneider, he's off at the hairpin, and he's on the wet tyres. Cameron Kaboom also with a 3-second time penalty, presumably for cutting the pit entrance, and Wiggy Style finally able to get back onto get back to the pits and put on a set of wet tyres. A 4-minute 42 lap. Ted, he's still, I don't know where he is. He's on the back straight approaching the chicane. Maybe the grass has more grip than the track. But the rain has really opened up the gaps between the drivers. Those who stayed out really got hit heavy with the wet weather. Unbelievable how quickly that came down. It went from 0 to pretty much full wet on the same lap. And those who took the gamble essentially and pit when it was raining, when it started raining, it's paid off. It does look like the rain is getting lighter. Has it stopped raining? Tiger doesn't have his wiper. Oh no, that must have been a manual thing that turned his wiper off. It's if the wipers automatically stop, then the rain has stopped. But they are still going. You can see the rain on the screen and the spray kicking up from the rear tyres. Ted has disconnected from the session. We're now down to 10 as Cameron serves his penalty, but look how big the gaps are between the field. Those who stayed out, I think, well, it's clear for those who stayed out. Pretty much the bottom 5 stayed out. Bonnie's gone off, down at the hairpin, and Tiger now finds himself up into second place. He started this race from the back of the grid. He didn't do any qualifying. He joined with like 30 seconds left of qualifying, and he's now up into second place. Let me know in the comments in the chat who gets your driver of the day. Dutchy starting from 5th, I think, or 6th. Was 8th before the 7th before the rain, now up into the lead of the race, or is it going to be Tiger Assassin, someone who started from the back of the field and has now worked his way up into second, getting ahead of Bonnie Evil, not making any mistakes so far in this wet period? Or is it going to be someone like GTA, who, although has left disconnected from the session, he did show great pace in the dry conditions, getting his Beetle up into first place and leading quite a few laps. Almost looks like it's snowing on the inside. Dutchy getting Spin Masters driver of the day, the four consecutive GT Sport champion out of 5 seasons, an absolutely unstoppable machine. Starts lap 17 of 20 with a 10-second advantage to Tiger in second place. It looks like the rain is starting to ease off and the track can now begin to dry. The bar in between the first and second stage essentially, meaning the grip is roughly suitable for the intermediate tyres. But as you can see, its body goes wide into turn 1, the grip meter goes up, obviously because it's off the racing line. So that's what I do love about this game. If you go wide off the racing line, then yep, I say no more. But yeah, just watch Tiger's line. You can kind of see the racing line, but also keep an eye out on the grip bar, how it flickers up and down, up and down. He goes onto the curb, it goes up, back into the drier racing line, it goes back down to where it normally is. Let's see if he goes wide here. Maintains actually a good racing line because you can see the grip bar isn't going up too much. Look at Dan Schneider into the pits. Look how much standing water there is in the pit lane. Much more than Toussaint going around the turn 4. I thought that was the final corner for a second. But Dan Schneider into the pits from the wets. He may go into a set of the intermediates. Jetsy also on the wet, starts lap 17 in 6th place. As Cameron goes off, gets reset to track. I can promise you that the reset to track option is off, but when you cut a significant section of the track, it does reset you automatically on this game. Tiger's second place advantage is slowly coming down though. 1.4 seconds on Dan Schneider's gone to softs. Was that a misclick from Dan Schneider? Oh, I didn't want to do that. It's dry, Dan, but I don't think it's that dry. This could be the biggest gamble of the century. He's already gone wide and deep in towards turn 1. Did he misclick the tyre selection when he went into the pit? Having said that though, look at the final sector compared to turn 1. Are we going to go back to dry? Was that someone else also into the pits for softs? Cameron's on the softs. Dodgy starts lap 18. Well, I guess when it happens quickly. Bon Evil, with a face full of spray, is now in the slipstream of Tiger going in towards turn 1. Is he going to send one on the inside? He's late on the brakes. Tiger gives him the room and he gets the move done. No, he doesn't. He can't get on the throttle on the exit and has to concede for 3rd place for now because he's going to try and go round the outside on the wetter part of the track on the intermediates. Ho 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 ho, that's how you do it. Tiger with no defence. Bon Evil on the wetter part of the track on the intermediates, making it work for him in the Genesis. And the track could be drying up for a drier stint for the final 2 laps. What an end to the race that would be. Kaboom being waved the blue flags in 8th place with a 3-second time penalty. He's on soft compound tyres. I don't think it's time for softs yet, because look at the rate that Bon Evil and Tiger are gaining on Kaboom in the Mazda. Let's hope he gets out of the way for the blue flags. Bon Evil flashing his lights at the Mazda in front. This could get close and nasty. Everyone close your eyes for the next minute. Kaboom going slightly wide. I don't know if that was intentional or not. He does, however, let Tiger Assassin go through. Obliging by the blue flag rule, unlike what happened in the Red Bull Ring. Not Kaboom. Kaboom wasn't there. This is his debut. So there was another incident concerning blue flags. So we're going to see anyone else into the pits. Look at the lines Dutchy's taking. He's trying to find the wet parts of the track. The bar reaches the final 33%. The final third. Bon Evil gets a little bit squirming on the exit of turn 11. Is Dutchy going to pit for dries? Oh, we're going to see dries from Dutchy. I think it's time for dries if the race was longer. But he stays out on intermediates. Oh, we're going to see anyone else gamble with 2 laps to go. Doesn't look like the top front 2 are gambling. They look like they're locked in the battle for 2nd place. But the racing line is dry. Look how sunny it is. I didn't even realise it was this sunny. Who's the first driver on the softs? It's Darren Schneider in 7th place. He's got a 31 second gap to Jetsy. Let's keep an eye on that to see if the gamble will pay off. But the racing line is dry. You can see how much difference it makes. The racing line to a slightly wider line. You can just see Kaboom aquaplaning, going deep in towards turn 1. When he gets into the wet stuff, there's absolutely no grip. Had this race had 5-7 more laps, I think I would be considering a change for the red striped soft compound tyres. But the battle for the podium is yet to be decided between the drivers in 2nd and 3rd place. 2 British drivers, one in a Japanese manufactured car, one driving an American car, but which one will come out on top of the other? Wiggly style, drifting down at turns. Look at the wheel spin on that Subaru on the soft compound tyres. Dan Schneider isn't gaining on Jetsy. The gap's still 31 seconds, so that's the prime example of what's called the crossover point. The change between the inters and the slicks, but I think it's still time for the intermediates. There's still well, there's lots of the track that's still wet, and we've only got 1 lap to go at the Nurburgring. Bon Evil running slightly wide onto the gravel, out of shape. That's going to give Tiger the run down the back straight. I don't think he's going to be close enough to send one on the inside, but he might be close enough by the time they get to turn 1. Bon Evil's got a little bit deep into the chicane as well. Parks it on exit, trying not to let Tiger get through, but he finds a way on the inside. Gets up into 2nd place, albeit a Bon Evil mistake, but he sends one back down the inside of Tiger Assassin. Was that a mistake? Because now Tiger's going to have the outside line, the slipstream, the run, the momentum he needs to try and go for something in towards turn 1. You can see he's on the drier line that forms in the middle of the circuit, the Genesis, so really quick it seems in a straight line as Bon Evil leads the 2 of them going in towards turn 1, but Tiger can't fight it back. as they start the final lap of the race. Yellow flags, that wasn't Dutchy. Welcome Aston in the chat. You have missed lots, mate. You have missed quite a lot of the race. Let's just say on lap 14, it rained and it absolutely poured down. Bon Evil's gone wide down at turn 3. I'll get back to that in a minute. Tiger Assassin now round the outside, gets the position done, up into second place on the last lap here at the Nurburgring. We've still got 2 races that follow in the coming fortnights. Dutchy flashing his lights, presumably for the blue flat, the lapped car in front. I'm not too sure who it is. I think it's Cameron Kaboom. No, it's not. It's Dan Schneider. Took a gamble for softs at the end that didn't quite work out. But this race started in the dry. Then on lap 14, it's absolutely poured it down. Now you can see the grip bar in the bottom left. It's practically no rain. Maximum grip on the racing line. It is dry in the centre of the circuit, so it is time for slicks. But Dan Schneider hasn't got enough laps left in this race to close in on the back of Jetsy. And this has absolutely been one of the best entertaining races. Well, this has to be one of the best entertaining races I've commentated on in a while on this game, or in the GT franchise, let's put it that way. Never have we had a race in this game go from dry to wet to dry. I don't know if I can stress it to you enough that this was on dynamic weather. But Play Dutchy rounds the final corner. He was 8th on lap 14. He was 1st on lap 15. And he finishes 1st here at the Nurburgring and takes the win in the first mini-season event here at the Nurburgring. Tiger Assassin from last place on the grid finishes ahead of Bon Evil. Made the last lap overtake. Bon Evil finishing in 3rd place, claiming the final podium position. What could have been a podium for Piero before he got engine damage from a stranded Dan Schneider or Jetsy. I think it was Jetsy who stayed out on the softs. Had no grip down the back straight, and then Piero unfortunately hit the back of the Dutchman. Toussaint was leading the race before it rained, stayed out the extra lap, and that cost him 36 odd seconds plus, as the front 3 all crashed pretty much simultaneously in the middle sector. Jetsy in 6th place took a gamble for the wets when it was pouring down, but couldn't quite work his way back through the field and finished this race in 6th place, as behind him Dan Schneider, Cameron Kaboom and Wigglestar have all finished in 7th, 8th and 9th respectively. Ted and GTA are your 2 DNFs. But as Jetsy finishes the final couple of corners, to run down exactly what happened, we have the first 14 laps all in the dry, a mix of 2 stops and 1 stops. Dutchy was in 7th, Toussaint was leading, and then on lap 14 it just poured it down like it does in England. The front 3 all crashed pretty much at the hairpin at the same time on lap 14, and Dutchy from 7th to 1st wins the race. And I think we're not going to get to see the race winners, because the drivers who were here at the start left, and then they get replaced with me, because I'm also in the lobby, but I'm not racing, so this is going to be a long cool-down lap, I guess, essentially. But congratulations to Play Dutchy for winning the first event, the first European mini-season, the first time we're introducing mini-seasons. That's an interesting graphic. We've got Dutchy in 1st and Toussaint in 5th. Let's see if we can get rid of this. I'm going to save the race replay just in case I need to get... Can we not view the results? Oh, we can't review the results anymore, but it was Play Dutchy who won, followed by Tiger Assassin and Bon Evil in 3rd. Thank you everyone for watching. Stay tuned next week for Monza, which should be a really interesting race. Unfortunately, it can't rain at Monza. It's not yet added into the game for rain in Italy for some reason. I'm not too sure why. But thank you guys for watching. Huge congrats to the drivers for their performance, and we'll see you guys next week for Monza. Goodbye. Before I go as well, sorry, I should also add promos. F1, we've got the... What round is it? I think it's Bahrain in the Premier Series and Super League this week. Stay tuned on Tuesday and Wednesday evenings for those races. Make sure to subscribe to YouTube. Follow us on Twitch if you can. And I'll see you guys next week. I'm X-Energy. Goodbye.